He always dreamt of a peaceful life. He always dreamt of getting married one day. He always dreamt of being a husband one day. Maybe even having a family and to be a father, if it came down to it. And just live a comfortable, peaceful life. At least as peaceful as being a demon slayer allowed him to be. Kojiro seemed to find himself dreaming about that a lot. In spite of the circumstances, stress clawed at his heart. Is it the oblivious of those born strong to defend the weak? Your mission requires you to fulfill your mission properly. Don't ever forget that. He remembers the words of his mother once told him, those words that told him the importance of life, the words that motivated him to be strong and use that strength in order to protect the weak. Upon coming back to his senses, Kojiro finds himself lying on a cold ground. His head was buzzing with a dull ache, and it took him a few moments to properly open his eyes and struggle to sit up. Red and gold blinked, and last of his unconsciousness away. And when he looked his surroundings in, it felt like he had been plunged in the middle of a foreboding dream. However, something didn't quite feel right. As he began to wander around the aimless in the darkness that was the endless void, with each curious step he took, Kojiro tried so hard to remember exactly where it was he is and how he got there. His brain still running wild with confliction emotions and worry, as he had a terrible sinking feeling within his gut that something was wrong. All that seemed to come to his mind was that he's supposed to be looking for someone. Ko! That voice. Wake up, Ko! That voice sounded so familiar. It's a female's voice, and it was like milk and honey calling out to him. Ko! Her cry sounded more frantic now as Kojiro stopped dead in his tracks. The gut-wrenching feeling slowly grew stronger as her cries echoed around him. Please! Her voice sounded so very familiar to him. Hello? He finally called out. Looking around, all Kojiro saw was darkness. It was empty, cold, and vast. No walls, ceilings, nor ground. Where is that voice coming from? He didn't know, but something was definitely wrong, and he couldn't, for the life of him, figure where the hell he was. Ko! Her voice came out to him again and again, and panic soon coursed through his blood as his heart swelled with fear. Her voice. Suddenly, memories of her face came rushing back to him as he recalled her lovely smile, beautiful eyed-colored, enthusiastic eyes, and warm, skin-colored skin. Yin. He remembered now. Yes, he was supposed to be looking for Yin. Go! Yin? She sounded like she was in pain. Kojiro called out for her again, spinning around, trying to pinpoint exactly where she is. But he saw no one, only darkness. Was he perhaps dreaming? Mentally panicking, he broke out in a sprint, not knowing exactly where it is he's going. But he just had to get out of this and find her. He couldn't help but feel tears of frustration and pent-up fear and nervousness. building up within him, a blood-curdling terror cutting his breath short as he suddenly remembered what had to happen. Yin and he had been hunting for a demon, but got separated. Yes, but Kojo then recalled encountering that Jinchi girl, Wyoming, and she had used some sort of spell on him. Those memories were quickly swallowed by the horrifying realization, a crushing, absolute power that swept over him and left him a plain, immortal puppet. Now he knew where he is, as everything inside of him was terrified and infatuated that Wyoming's control over him was tightening, that Kojo could feel his body bend itself to her will, to agree with every single disgusting command she innocently whispered to him. His mouth felt like it was filled with the centered taste of a bland at the thought of hurting its precious yin with his bare hands. His body, as of right now, wasn't his own, but a motionless doll. Anger and frustration, tears began to spill down his cheeks. My love. The tears stream from your eyes as you continue to spire up into those red and golden eyes you've come to love so much. You couldn't find it in you to attack him, not with everything you two had been through. You loved him. You loved Kojo so much. You could never hurt him. You struggled to breathe, your fingernails clawing helplessly at his arms and hands. It felt like falling in the slow motion as Kojo's eyes continued to stare down at you, a golden haze that held no emotions whatsoever, watching slightly as you squirmed beneath him. You grasp once, his gaze tightens around your throat, attempting to squeeze the life out of you. White and black dots slowly begin to dance across your vision as you kick your feet in an attempt to shake him off of you, while you struggle to breathe. Go, please, don't. You choked out, tighter his hands squeezed, slowly crushing your windpipe. Internally, you knew that you had to do to stop him, but you couldn't. No, you refused to hurt him as your fight or flight response kicked in. Every part of you was yelling at you to impale him with an ice pick, and you are slowly feeling your grip of self-control slowly slip away. Tiny shards of ice started forming beneath you, threatening to shoot up and protect you. But you mentally held it in. You promised. You tried once more to reason with him, to get through him, knowing that the real Kojo was still in there somewhere. You promised me. If you truly want me, then promise me. Say you won't break my heart. Say you'll never leave me. Promise me, Flame Hashira. You reclaim. You remember now how immature you were back then. You said you'd love me. You breathed out. I'll never grow tired of you. I love you. You promised to always love and cherish me. What I could promise you, however, is to love, hold, and cherish you until I've breathed my last breath. Oh, how determined he was. You remembered the shine in his eyes when he said those words to you. How happy he was. How the sun radiant off him when he smiled at you lovingly. You have set my heart ablaze, and it's a flame that'll forever burn as long as I'm with you. I really want you to be my wife. Come back to me, Kojiro. You say softly, and momentarily, You'd feel his grip around your neck ease as you reached up to stroke his cheek. You want to be with me, don't you? Red and golden eyes slowly blink, and your heart swelled when a tear streamed down his face. You couldn't help but give small smile and delight that you were finally getting through to him and weakly removing the talisman from his forehead. You love me, yeah? Well, I love you. I love you so much, Ko. Please, you must fight it. Yin? His eyes blinked once, then twice, before he shook his head, immediately snapping out of his trance. Yes, Ko, it's me. Please come back to me, my flame. You'd smile, overjoyed to see him coming back to his senses. Kojo's eyes widen in terror and disbelief as he glanced down to see that he was straddling you and his hands wrapped tightly around your throat, choking you. Immediately, he removed them and leaned down until his face was close to yours. Yin, gods, no, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. His voice broke as huge globs of tears dripped from his eyes. You smiled, closing your eyes as he nuzzled his forehead against yours. Emotions of happiness and relief wrecked through you whilst listening to his content, deepest apology. I didn't mean to. I would never hurt you, my love. Please forgive me. He looked at you, and you couldn't help but hold back any more as you immediately leaned up to capture his lips. Kojo froze in disbelief at your sudden action, but soon returned and kissed as his body slowly relaxed. He closed his eyes and spoke no more words. He was just thankful he managed to come to his senses and that you were still alive, and that he didn't hurt you.
Disgraceful. You two are disgusting. Now die.
Wyoming claimed, rudely interrupting your moment as she came right to you. You quickly pulled away from Kojo and reacted just in time to shoot up an ice spike at her, severing peacefully her head, the stomach, and as she coughed up blood, after a while, she all ceased movement and was dead. Now, all was left to do is kill Satuji.